everyone. Mark and Joey here on Monday afternoon. I had to go to a meeting this morning, so we're getting it going here in the afternoon. I'm not going to waste your time talking about our new format. Please go to one of the other ones, the PJ and the NFL. We covered it on what we're doing. We want to get into the subjects quickly here, so please go ahead and take a listen to those other, at least the start, even if it's not your sport. Go listen to the start and see what we're doing with our Monday show each week. But Joey, we want to get in the NHL, and as much as we love football, we were born and bred with the NHL, so this matters a lot to us. And we want to take a look at, the suspension, the 2-game. Is he the last tough guy in the NHL?
So he is the last tough guy in the NHL, and this suspension makes me think, why is he even in the NHL?
Yeah.
Milan Lucic got suspended 2 games. If you saw the play, it was pretty dirty. But the reason why I brought this up is it is obviously the NHL is turning, and this suspension, though, proves it even more. I mean, It was more of a face wash. He took him down. Old days be okay. Today, it looks like a disgusting play, and it is. But he should not be in the NHL right now, and the reason why I'm saying this, he is actually the last legit tough guy. He doesn't have many other skills. He did at one point, but more importantly, he's not like a Marchand who scores and gets assists. He's purely a tough guy, and even he's getting suspended, which makes me think of why bother.
Well, even Marchand is really, he's kind of a tough guy, but he's dirty. Yeah, like the cross-check he did after that play was pure dirt. I mean, there was no reason to do that, but certainly it's the league no longer has or needs or wants that kind of player. It just isn't going to happen anymore.
This is proof, right, though?
This is proof. They're suspending, and they don't want this in the game.
This is the last tough guy, guys. Milan Lucic suspended 2 games. In my mind, he's probably out of the NHL in less than 2 years.
Yeah, for sure. And the unfortunate part for those of us who watched the game for a long time, kind of were okay with the fighting because it wasn't dirty in the old days. It was a fight. I mean, guys got the gloves off, and no matter what people think about it, it was kind of, the thing the fans went nuts about. It was what the NHL was known for a little bit. Pretty soon, fights in the NHL are going to look like fights in MLB with a bunch of guys slapping each other like that. But that's the way it is, and they are worried about the safety of players, which I'm okay with.
The fights are still okay. 5 minutes, get out of the box, whatever.
Yeah.
It's stuff like Milan Lucic does, which is attacking guys that don't want to fight. Because most of these guys in the NHL are just skilled players now. Yeah. But the tough guys are going to be like, like I said, a Marchand, which is more of a pass. There's still going to be the odd fight, which I think is good in the NHL, and they haven't really stopped that. But it's the dirty stuff that Milan Lucic does, which tough guys do when you beat up on the good players.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying this. He's the last tough guy in that, pure tough guy in the NHL. Not much else to offer. I say he's done in probably a couple of years. But I just want to say farewell to all you old bruisers out there. Like Darcy Tucker's out there and whatever.
Yeah, no kidding, eh? Well, let's look at the next subject, which, man, at the start of the year, we wouldn't even have mentioned. As a matter of fact, I picked them to win the Stanley Cup. Are the Leafs a playoff team? What the hell is going on?
This question's come up because it is a question that a lot of people are asking the NHL. It's hard to believe, and I believe it's false, but because I saw it, I thought, bring it up.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on right now in the Toronto Maple Leafs, and we're going to address another topic later, but there's just a lot going on, and the Leafs are just a bit of a mess right now. I think the Stars are kind of battling management, and, I guess, are they a playoff team? I don't know. I think they are, but
I think they. Are
you concerned, I guess?
I'm concerned a lot. I'm concerned. Babcock has turned a team into a mess in the dressing room. Austin Matthews is talking out against his coach almost every single game. Babcock's always trying to put Austin Matthews in his path. I would have never believed this. When they signed him, I was the happiest guy in the world. That he came in, he's taken a young team and made them good. But he has no clue how to handle the current Stars. He has no idea. You don't have Ovechkin give a sermon on the fact that the Leafs aren't good enough for these reasons and then agree with them.
I know.
What are you doing as a coach? You don't do that. Especially when your star players have already come out against you. Yeah. This is almost like, I'm bigger than you. Here's my prediction. They're going to make the playoffs. They're going to win the Stanley Cup. Babcock will not be the coach. You know what? Throw away the boys. Got 6 years left. Whatever. Yeah. It was a ridiculous 10-year contract for a coach who won 1 Stanley Cup in his whole career. And he's done what his value was, which is why he should have had a 5-year contract. He's taken a young team, been able to beat them in a submission, a lot like Tortorella, a lot like the old guys used to do, Imlach and guys like that, Scotty Bowman. They used to beat great teams into guys. That isn't the way anymore. These guys are making millions and millions of dollars. Matthews is a superstar in this league, a superstar. and he's getting called out by his coach. Give me a break. So I think this is not going to get solved. I think the management has to move in. I don't think they can wait too long. I think that when you got your stars fighting your coach, it can't work.
Well,
and he has to lose.
And Babcock's even fought the GM. So I say they are a playoff team on talent alone, but they're not a cup team until they make a coaching change.
Yeah.
You need this team to get together. Right now, I think the players on the same page, and right now Babcock's an outlier, and it'll be interesting how long he lasts.
And I will throw it out there, I was against Austin Matthew becoming the captain. This kid has stood up in these situations. He's leading this team. He's saying it like it is. He's telling people not to worry. He's telling things as they are. Really impressed with his. And Tavares, as a big disappointment, has gone into hiding.
Yeah.
And right now, with his injury, he should be more up front, talking on behalf of his teammates. Austin Matthews done that. I think it might have been a mistake. I made a mistake. I really thought that he was not ready. But I'll tell you, this guy is doing a good job.
Matthews was going to get
the actual captain right now.
Matthews is going to get the media attention anyway. That's why I thought it'd be better to make him the captain.
Yeah.
But he's standing up for his guys, and I like it. I like it going forward. But they need a coach that's on the same level as Matthews. I'd be interested to see what happens.
I agree 100%. Joey, what we got here?
Ryan Getzlaf.
We got 1,000 games, man. That's not going to happen very often.
No, his 1,000th game. Ryan Getzlaf, what a career for him. He's been on a couple of teams now, but not really a guy that at one point actually might have been really up there in the top players of the game.
Yeah,
he's a no-name.
He had his years. I mean, there's no
doubt. He's a Canadian. He played on the Olympic teams. Currently in Anaheim, a real tough guy. But 1,000th game, what a milestone that is in the NHL, man. I mean, in a game that beats you up pretty good.
Well, you only play 82 max.
Yeah.
So here at 1,000, that's 15 seasons playing every game.
Yeah.
And he's obviously been out like every player in the NHL has been. So what a milestone.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's just incredible. Really not much to touch on it. But it's just an impressive game career. To play these many games. Unfortunately, he got spoiled with a loss, but I'm sure he's real happy about it. He's living in Anaheim. Hopefully, Anaheim can deliver him something special here in this season where he had this milestone.
That's awesome. I mean, just in today's game and injuries and everything go along with the game, that's tough to do. And tough to get back up every morning and skate and work out.
And he's had pucks to the face. He had the big puck to the face one time. Yeah. His face was all swollen and he played anyway.
Determination to move into that. Okay, I'm going to let you do the next one because I actually don't recognize his
name. Matthew Tkachuk, his dad Keith Tkachuk.
Keith's son. Oh,
yeah. So anyways, he has two sons in the NHL.
Yeah.
The reason why I brought this up is pretty funny the other day because his son Keith Tkachuk, I believe, was more of a tough, one of those tough guys I talked about.
Sure was.
His son has that edge to him. Both his sons do. In fact, it's only because their mom says they can't fight that they don't fight apparently. But they have real skill, and Matthew Tkachuk has real skill on Calgary here. And he pulled a goal last night, and his dad tweets out, he goes, "If I did that, I'd pull my groin."
Yeah.
He put it between his legs. Really cool and really fancy. Anyways, thought it was funny. He can do stuff his dad doesn't, and we see this now with Ty Domi's kid and Max Domi, Matthew Tkachuk, Keith Tkachuk's son. These tough guys have groomed their sons to be better hockey players than they were. As you hear that all the time, dads always say to their sons, "I want you to be not me. I want you to be better than me." And these sons have done it. They've adapted to the new way of the NHL. Matthew Tkachuk, though, a good player to watch going forward, but doing stuff his dad can't. Very cool.
And that's why I didn't recognize him. I used to call him Taychuk. So that's why I didn't recognize who you're talking about here. But anyway, I would also, though, you know what? Both of those guys, you mentioned Domi as well, were excellent hockey players. I mean, they used the tough guy role to get into the NHL at the time because that was the style of the NHL. Right. I'll tell you, both of them in today's NHL would be star players.
Like they were star players. In small works now.
Yeah, and they scored a lot of goals. I mean, Domi in his last year junior scored like 130 goals.
Yeah,
and he could put the puck in the net, even in the NHL. He was fast to put the puck in the net. So, they got good pedigree that they can be superstars, not just tough guys. So, glad to see that one happening. Chara, 21st player to play 1,500 games. We talked about 1,000 games, 1,500 games. Now, I must admit, in my mind, it's way easier for Chara because he actually doesn't do much. He's got that massive reach, and then he lays on top of guys on the boards compared to a guy who's out there working hard every game.
Though, man.
But that's a lot of getting up and doing the work every day.
I'm not a Chara fan only because he plays for Boston. He used to play for Ottawa, and I'm a Leaf fan.
And
so it was literally the two nemesis of the Leafs, Ottawa and Boston. But 1,500 games. I mean, again, we talk about dedication. Ryan Getzlaf is a little bit less, obviously, with Chara because, like you say, he's just big, plays defense. But still, that is an absurd amount of games.
What a leader, yeah.
He's been a captain virtually for his entire career.
Yeah.
He's been on good teams his entire career and really has proven it day in, day out, whether it's regular season or playoffs. He's been one of the staples of defensemen in the NHL. Obviously, one of the best in 1,500 games. Congratulations to you. That's a huge milestone, and I heard he wants to play even longer, like a Tom Brady. So impressive stuff there. Just a cool story. You always love guys that dedicate literally
Their
this
whole
many
life,
years
really,
to one sport. It's impressive stuff.
It's pretty amazing. Really amazing. So congratulations on 1,500 games, man. That's we got to look up, which I haven't looked up, is we got to look up the record. I forget what it
Probably
is.
a haul, right?
But I just, I just can't remember. I got to take a look at that for next week's show. I want to talk about the NHL Global Series here, heading to Sweden.
So a lot of emotional guys here, actually. Sometimes we forget kind of how much countries mean to us, and especially in Canada and hockey, because every guy gets to play in Canada if he plays hockey.
Yeah.
So, but Victor Hedman really is what brought the story to my attention. He's so emotional. Tampa Bay is going to go play in Sweden in the NHL Global Series. So barring a trade or an injury, he will get to play in his hometown, and it's just great to see the NHL
really cool.
expanding. Obviously, they've gone to China, and they've gone to a couple other places here. Going back to Sweden for these guys, where there's a lot of Swedes now in the NHL. We see them with basically all over the NHL right now, Sweden hockey players, and they're one of the best at the Worlds all the time, the Olympics. So he gets to go home playing for him. So it's going to be a great day for him. Victor Hedman gets to go to Sweden.
And we're pretty much attached to that in Toronto because we had the first great Swede in Börje Salming, played with the Leafs, maybe the greatest defenseman. People argue, obviously Bobby Orr, but let's put Bobby Orr aside. Okay. It's like betting against the favorite in a race. And Börje Salming's got to be recognized as one of the greats of all time. The toughest guy. You want to talk about pucks to the face, blocking shots. I mean, I gotta give Bobby Orr his credit, but he didn't do what Salming did. He put his body at risk all the time. You ever get a chance to see him now? The scars are all there from those days. He was the toughest guy I ever seen, and he's what really brought Swedes because he was tough. That was part of the challenge all the time with the Swedes, that they weren't tough. They just came and they had a skill game, and he was actually tough, and he actually took away the reputation the Swedes couldn't play in the NHL, because he obviously, I got to put him minimum top five defenseman to ever play the game, and that's why Swedes are in the league right now.
Congrats to Swedes, congrats to NHL for going global, and Victor Hedman, I know it's gonna be a great day for him. Talk about tough defensemen, he's one of them. So.
Yeah, and I got on YouTube yesterday. I got myself all confused. Happens at my age, but looking at the Sedin twins, they're looking at when they retired in Vegas. Two more unbelievable Swedes. I mean, Hall of Fame guaranteed. And so, it's all part of the game. Part of the game, yeah. Unfortunately, they were close a number of times. That's the way it goes. Happens a lot of times. Joel Quenneville, his 900th win, even though he got booted out of Chicagoland. What a coach.
Yeah, so I mean, as impressive as the players' milestones, because coaches get fired left, right,
all the time. Yeah,
good.
Hard to stay in the game.
This is pretty impressive stuff here.
Yeah.
He's now with Florida, and Florida's looking like a playoff team in the making here. Congratulations, Joel Quenneville, 900th win. A lot of that was with Chicago, 3 cups in Chicago, and actually in a pretty quick amount of time. I think it was 3 and 9 years, which in hockey is unheard of. So congratulations, Joel Quenneville, 900th win. Great milestone in a tough business as the coach of an NHL team.
Well, there's no doubt about that. I mean, these guys come and go like the door, a revolving door. So it's tough to get that many games in, never mind get those wins in. That's fantastic for him. He was due for a change, which is fine. He's gone to Florida, going to a fresh start, and they're going to be better and better because he's a great coach. Real credit to him. Love to see that. We just started talking about him. Babcock got his 700th win. Well, here's what we got to say. Babcock can coach in the regular season. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, probably the greatest regular season coach, but he's kind of like the Pittsburgh coach, Dan Balsma, I believe.
Yeah.
Couldn't win in the playoffs. Yeah. Won in the regular season. They got a new coach. They went to back-to-back Stanley Cups for Mike Sullivan. So Babcock's in that same situation, but congratulations.
20 years, 1 cup.
700th win. You're definitely a good regular season guy. You probably go to a team right now that's just looking to make the playoffs and make them better. Maybe a New York Rangers or Devils once you're done here with Toronto. But congratulations, 700 wins. Still a great milestone. And
incredible. Good job. Yeah, that's awesome to see he got that. And then we got David Pastrnak, disrespected, most goals and assists.
Yeah, so Pastrnak. David Pastrnak plays for Boston Bruins. What I mean by disrespected is he has the most goals and most assists in the NHL. But do you ever hear people talk about him? Never.
Except when you watch the Boston telecast.
But other than that,
because this guy gets the puck all the time.
My God, yeah.
Like if you're watching him play, Pastrnak, he just comes and you hear his voice, his name all the time. You hear it even more if you watch a Boston. I've seen a couple Boston-driven games when they play the Leafs, where the announcers, we get the U.S. channel sometimes, and especially when we're down in the States, and you see the Boston guys, and you just hear them even more.
Yeah.
This guy is a hell of a player, but just not out there, just not making a
well,
big issue.
I'll tell you what, in the last 3 are all about Boston because they are leading the NHL in all these stats. But yeah, I think he's really disrespected. I just think of every conversation I ever hear about the greatest players in the NHL right now, he is not even close. And then all of a sudden, a guy at the end of a show will be like, oh, and Pasternak's pretty good. I'll be like, pretty good, dude. Like, and in the playoffs last year, on their run, I mean, he was phenomenal.
Incredible. Oh my God.
Especially against the Leafs, he was great. But I just want to say he's disrespected. Pasternak, if you're listening, which you're not, but if you're listening, I consider you a top 5 player in the world, maybe top 3. You're right now better than McDavid and Matthews. You're on a good team. You're a good leader. You're one of the best players on one of the best teams in the league, and you have all the stats to prove it. Congratulations to you. Most goals and assists in the NHL right now.
Well, and he's done something Matthews and McDavid haven't done, which is get their team past the first round.
Yeah.
And McDavid can't even get his team in the playoffs. So when you get to these discussions about these skilled players, you know my personality. I talk about winners. I don't give a shit if you got a ton of stats. Can't put your team in position. Who cares? Pasternak's done that with Boston. He certainly did it last year in the playoff run against the Leafs. And you just heard about him all the time. So good for him. It is one of those ones people really got to take hold of the fact this guy's a great player. Speaking about great players, and one that really hurts us in Maple Leaf land, Tuukka Rask, best save percentage. For those of you who don't know, we made a trade with Boston so many years ago I can't even remember. The draft pick we gave away became Tuukka Rask.
No, we had drafted Tuukka Rask.
Oh, we had already drafted. You're right.
And we traded him for Red Light Raycroft. Because that's what we got him goals.
And look at this career the Leafs gave up on. We've had like 10 goalies in the one career that Tuukka Rask.
I mean, again, this goes back to funny, and I don't know how Boston we disrespect. Kind of the whole team is really. The next topic was, are they a team to beat? And they are. I mean, you got Tuukka Rask here, best save percentage in the NHL, clutch though, like in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And has a way to make sure he's ready for the playoffs too. A lot of goalies aren't doing that right now. He's finding a way. So you got Pasternak most goals, Tuukka Rask best save percentage, and he never gets win. You get Fleury. I get Fleury. He has a lot of shutouts, and he has the most wins in the NHL, and he's out there. I love Fleury as much as the next person. He gets a lot of talk, but then Carey Price gets mentioned more in my mind. His career is kind of a failure. Truthfully, I don't understand him a whole lot. You just hear of all these goals, and Tuukka Rask continues just to slide in there under the radar, and really until playoffs, he doesn't get talked about. And then all of a sudden, the playoffs are like, and by the way, he's the best goalie in the NHL. It's like, well, where were you talking about him all year long? So, Tuukka Rask, best save percentage in the NHL. But, I think what this team, the reason why I now say they're the team to beat, and that was the last talk, are they a team to beat, is because they have all these great players don't get talked about, means they're a team.
Yeah.
First and foremost,
you never hear anything coming out of Boston.
Right, and that is actually a good thing. So, in a way, individually they're disrespected because they're not considered the best amongst when people talk about the best. That's because as a team they're probably the best because the team aspect.
Right, and they're not always talking about their stars, so the team's not talked about. That's what happens, right?
They're
always talking about
McDavid.
Yeah. So you think Edmonton's actually really great, and they've had a good start, but they don't talk about Boston because none of their guys, and yet one of their guys leading the league. Yeah. They still don't talk about them. Their goalie's leading the league. Still don't talk about them. You never hear about that. You hear about the young stars, Austin Matthews and McDavid, which is, it's what people want to hear about because they come right in the league. Right. They become huge stars. But these guys, that's why, as you said, Boston wins.
You play for a winning team in a winning city? When you lead the league in goals and assists, you lead the league in goals, and you're still not talked about because Boston's supposed to be this good. Yeah. That's how you know you're great.
The only thing we need for Tuukka Rask is a Stanley Cup. We got to get that from Boston. Now, unfortunately, we can't cheer for it because they got to go through the Leafs to make that happen. So, you know what? That'll just have to be too bad. Mm-hmm. He's had a good career.
But for one segment, I'll give them their credit. Yeah. And that's about it. After this, I'm hating Boston again. Go Leafs go. But I just want to bring 100%. That up. I went on the NHL website. Just thought, what other stories are out there? And I thought this was a story that I think is hilarious. You're so good as a team that your players are the best at everything, and no one talks about it.
Yeah, it's just amazing. So there you go, a top 10 in the NHL. It's a start of the year. There's lots of things going on. We still don't have any real clue who's going to go make playoffs, take runs, and get to first place, and all that kind of stuff. That's all going to come. But there you go, some interesting stories this week. Maybe some you haven't thought about, maybe some you missed. And we hope you're enjoying the NHL show. We'll be back next Monday to do it again.
It's rolling in like 10 minutes.